Brand New is making a return to the stage. And if you don't know who Brand New is or you don't remember or whatever, I think the vocalist specifically has been called out for doing some pretty vile shit. I need a refresher, so what we're about to do is go down the Brand New rabbit hole. So this came on my radar. If you go to this tour, you should consider redecorating your house with your brain matter. What they're referring to is this. Brand New is coming to Vegas on Friday, November 6th. Register now, blah, blah, blah. And again, I don't remember exactly what happened, so I have a Reddit post here. Actually, let's read this first. So, Brand New tried to make a comeback in 2025. This article will tell us everything. Following their breakup in 2017 after allegations of SA and solicitation of nudes from a minor. Whoa. The popular alt emo rock band Brand New has announced plans to reunite and perform a handful of shows in the coming weeks. All right, so here we have a SAer and an actual PDF file. Brand New's official website has revealed, by the way, again, this was in 2025. This isn't like today. This is just we're catching up with the lore. Brand New's official website has revealed there are shows slated for Dallas, Texas, Newport, Kentucky, and Nashville, Tennessee at the end of March. While this technically isn't the first instance of the band getting back together, as they performed a private friends and families only reunion show back in 2024, these are the first public reunion shows the band has announced since disbanding in 2017 after the allegations were brought up against lead vocalist Jesse Lacey. What happened with Brand New in 2017? Despite 2017 being the year that Brand New disbanded, it was one of the most successful years in the band's entire career. This is 100% true. Again, bro, I straight up remember Brand New being in everybody's fucking mouths. And I tried giving Brand New a chance because they were so popular, and I just couldn't get into them. I don't know. I don't remember why or anything. I remember I used to work at Amazon and I gave that one album with the floating astronaut a chance. I didn't get it. And if I remember correctly, there was like a lot of religious stuff in it and it just wasn't for me. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I was like, whatever, to each their own. And everybody, they were like the fucking like sleep token of the emo scene. Like everybody loved Brand New. And then this shit came out. And I'm like, oh, oh, this is crazy. And then that's when I was saying, like all the tattoo artists and shit were like down to basically do cover-ups for free and shit like that. The band has surprise released their first LP in over 8 years since Science Fiction, and with it they managed to land their first #1 charting album in US Billboard Top 200. Not only was Science Fiction the band's first #1 charting album, but it was the first independent release to top Billboard Top 200 since Frank Ocean's Blonde in 2016. Oh, that's fucking crazy. And keep in mind, when Frank Ocean dropped Blonde, the main reason why he did that successfully as an independent artist was because of the story. So Frank Ocean, when he released Blonde, he literally released an album beforehand and basically scammed his label out of an album, basically did some bullshit slop album, literally, but this still had bangers on it, by the way, to then release Blonde so he could get like most of like the fucking profit or whatever the fuck. I don't remember exactly. But the only reason why Frank Ocean's Blonde was top in 2016 was because of the controversy around like the entire album. Like crazy, crazy big news. So the fact that Brand New was able to stealthily drop an album and do have the same success Frank Ocean did with that massive story, or that should be more than enough evidence to put in perspective how massive this band was at the time. Following the release of Science Fiction, Brand New embarked a US fall tour and had dates planned for UK and Ireland in November. However, during the band's US run, frontman Jesse Lacey had addressed the crowd at a show and stated, "We're going to be a band for about 14 more months. So thank you so much for being here tonight." Ooh, I wonder what that's in regards to. In a few weeks following Lacey's statement, Pitchfork had published accounts from 2 women alleging that Lacey had committed SA and solicitation of explicit photographs from a minor. Both women in the circle went into detail about their interactions and history with Lacey and how they were 15 and 16 years old when they first met him. Holy. Jesse Lacey's response and Brand New's disbanding. Following the allegations and the detailed accounts written in the Pitchfork article, Lacey posted a blanket statement addressing the very serious accusations. And this is what he said: I was selfish, narcissistic, and insensitive in my past. And there are a number of people who have had to shoulder the burden of my failures. I apologize for the hurt I have caused and hope to be able to take the correct actions to earn forgiveness and trust. Lacey wrote, I am sorry for how I've hurt people, mistreated them, lied, and cheated. I'm sorry for how I've hurt people, mistreated them, lied, and cheated. I'm sorry for ignoring the way in which my position, status, and power as a member of a band affected the way people viewed me or their approach to their interactions with me. And I'm sorry for how often I have not afforded women the respect, support, or honesty that they deserved. See, this is one of those statements where it's like, sure, they're like taking accountability, but okay, a lot of people that get called out for this bullshit, they don't really acknowledge what they actually done. Yeah, yeah, he's downplaying. He's like, yeah, I used to be a bad guy. Now I'm not. Right. But it's not as simple as that. Right. Like you were literally being a PDF file. Statements like this, it feels like they're just banking on people not looking into what the fuck they've done. So, like, trying to do as much damage control possible. But, like, realistically, it's way more respectable when you just do, like, a fucking, like, a solid apology and just talk about, like, all the bullshit you've done, like, own up to your shit, and it's more respected. Not that like you can redeem yourself as a PDF file. There's no redeeming that. But at least you're like being upfront about what you did at the very least. That's like the least you owe the people. Brand New went on to postpone their upcoming UK and Ireland shows, and outside of Lacey's statement, the band didn't post any statement of their own at the time. Brand New's 2025 reunion. So this was last year. As previously mentioned, Brand New has announced their upcoming reunion dates slated for March 26, 28, blah, blah, blah. Outside of these shows, the band hasn't announced any other plans or dates for the rest of the year. However, back in December 2024, Brand New performed private reunion show, which oh wow, it had a strict no phones or video policy. The OG lineup for the band, which consists of Jesse Lacey, guitarist Vincent Accardi, drummer Brian Lane, and bassist Garrett Tierney, I guess is how you say, were all present at the performance. Which, by the way, fuck those guys too. Okay, sure, you are not the PDF files, but why the fuck are you still playing shows with one? So I get it, right? If you have a strong connection, especially when you're in a band with someone for this long, right? Years and years and years, they develop the connection, they develop love for Jesse, right? So in their mind, they're probably like, oh man, not our Jesse, no way. Maybe we should give him the benefit of the doubt, blah blah. Like it feels like people are quick to say like fucking noose a bad guy until that bad guy happens to be in their camp, and then they're apologetic for their actions. Them continuing to play with him actively keep him in a position that lets him keep doing that shit. Exactly, right? If and again, it's easier said when you're not in the band. But I'd like to imagine if I was in this band, I'd say, I don't give a fuck how long I knew you. You're not safe around kids, which they play too, right? They're not safe around. If I'm sure there's kids in these band members' lives that now they have to be wary that Jesse is around, right? I fuck you. I'm not letting any weirdo like this in my life. I don't give a fuck if it's my brother. I don't give a fuck if it's my dad. I don't give a fuck who it is. If you are this person, I don't give a fuck how close I am to you, right? You're not in my life anymore. A lot of mainstream artists, right? They talk about more like surface level shit, like, oh no, my heart got broken. Oh, right? Like they talk about a lot about like love, breakups, blah, blah, blah. But like bands, especially with how many there are, you will literally find a band you can relate to more than a mainstream artist would. You develop this relationship with this band, you develop this relationship with their music, and then I guess that makes the betrayal hit harder. I have that Reddit post that we could skim through, see if there's anything worth seeing there. And then we have a video attached that I wanted to react to because I don't think this guy is like defending Jesse, but I'm just curious to see what he has to say because I think he's like, hey man, we're all human. And if that's the case, I gotta talk my shit because I'm not gonna humanize a fucking PDF file. But let's see what he has to say. Did everyone forget the Lacey stuff, or does nobody care anymore? I've been in this scene for a very long time and thought we were all done with him. As a woman with friends and family who have been victims to abusers like Lacey, I wrote him off in 2017, as you should. Brand New is still in my top 5 bands of all time, and I listen to them regularly. But I couldn't imagine directly paying to see him perform. And I'm just curious to why the atmosphere around him has changed so much over this time. Now, when we talk about separating the art from the artist, right? I got to make that clear. I listen to bands that have done terrible shit. I know I say this all the time, but I feel like there's gonna be a video, and people that haven't heard what I said in the past, I think it's worth saying. It is okay, in my opinion. I can separate the art from the artist if I have discovered that art, fell in love with it before said person came out to be a weirdo. And if you're the type of person that it's like, yeah, they did something bad, can't listen to them anymore, sure, that's fine. But my take on it is I will still listen to that piece of music because I already have my relationship with it. I already love that piece of music. However, if they continue to release shit moving forward, I will not even my morbid curiosity will let me listen to it, right? Because I'm good. I'm all right, right? Like for example, let I don't like Brand New. If I seen all this happen and I've never given them a chance, I'm okay with never giving them a chance forever because I didn't give myself that opportunity to develop my relationship with that music. Now, in a case of a band like Can't Swim, I still listen to Can't Swim, but there are specific songs that I can't, right? Because he came out to be like, allegedly, I don't remember so much, but apparently he's like a violent dude, and like SA was involved, the vocalist of Can't Swim. So when I listen to a song, like there's a song that he talks about, like a lyric is like, I see you nervous as I'm ripping off your clothes, right? I can't listen to that lyric. That shit is gut wrenching. I am uncomfortable listening to this song. Were allegations proven false? Has the scene lost its edge when it comes to accountability? Do people not know or not care? Not trying to start any fights, just interested and confused and looking for some genuine discourse on the subject. I think it's worth taking a moment to actually consider what would you ideally like to see happen with people like this. A PDF file? I think it's I got a pretty cold take on that. If someone gets rightfully accused of being a sex pest, should we banish them forever? Since they often get fired from whatever job they're doing, do they not get to work anymore? Do they ever get to come back and make music ever? Does it matter if they seem repentant and do work and try to make amends? I guess what this person is trying to say so far is like, okay, he came out, terrible dude. Now what? What do we do? Should he never work again? Should he never do his passion again or pursue what he wants again? I think that doing the actions he did should take away his rights to be put on a pedestal again. I don't think this is someone who we should be platforming, right? Because you never know. I don't know if this guy's an addict. I don't know shit. I am not okay. Like, sure, work on yourself, good, but you already did extreme wrong and you have to pay for those consequences. What should happen to this person? Prison. And if you get away with it for whatever reason, then sorry, man. I hate to tell you, I don't think you should be put in a high position anymore. I think you should literally just go to your nine to five and get the fuck out of here. Like, stay away from people. I'm not saying any of this to defend Jesse Lacey or any of these people, not even remotely, but I think if you're not going to have a strong opinion on this, that you should be able to answer those questions. These people don't cease to exist when they fade from the limelight, and sometimes I legit think that people have the wrong idea in their hands that canceling someone means they just stop existing and that's the end of it. I don't think canceling someone is, yeah, okay, this guy called out, we're canceling him. It's not they cease to exist. It's that, hey, here's the full fucking awareness. Don't let this human around you or the kids around you. So it's like no one is saying like, oh, okay, canceled equals canceled means they stop existing. We're saying, hey, look, this person did something terrible. Get the like, make sure he doesn't get into the position where he's in now again. So what is the goal here? Do we want to see these people apologize and be better, or are we just punishing them and hoping they kill themselves or die? because their lives are completely ruined. Should we reward people actually doing the work to step up and be better people? No, we shouldn't reward them. What the fuck? Oh, bro. Okay. You know what this is? Should we reward the people actually doing the work to step up and be better people? You know what that's equivalent of? Okay, if you have a fucking problem and you did something terrible and you are doing the work to step up and be a better person, that's what you literally should be doing. Why are we going to reward someone for something they literally should be doing? That's like going to the bar, knowing you're taken, somebody hits on you, you don't reciprocate because you're not a cheater. You go back home and you're like, "Hey partner, didn't cheat on you. You proud of me?" For what? Doing what you're supposed to do? Yeah, I'm proud of you for brushing your teeth this morning. I'm proud of you for wiping your ass. I'm proud of you for scrubbing in between your cheeks in the shower. Get the fuck. What? I don't think this commenter is trying to piss anyone off. I think this person is trying to humanize somebody that doesn't deserve it. I think this person, which shows they probably have skeletons in their own closet. Personally, given how many of these dudes have gone about responding in the wrong way only to continue to thrive, I happen to think that if you own up to your shit and actually do the work to be better, that eventually that effort should be acknowledged and perhaps taken into consideration. He didn't, bro. Did he read the apology? What did he own up to? He didn't even say what he did. Not sure that just blatantly saying anyone that does a bad thing should be banished forever. Okay, bro, what are you, his fucking PR? Are you, oh my God, this guy's an idiot. Blatantly saying anyone that does a bad thing ever banished forever? You fucking idiot. You fucking moron. He's a predator. He didn't just do a bad thing. Holy downplay. Is this guy getting paid? Now, lastly, before we close off this segment, I'm curious to see what this video is. Jesse Lacey, brand new in the truth about vulnerable art and flawed artist.
Their albums arrived without explanation, and the band stepped into the background as soon as the songs were released. And in that absence, a strange kind of intimacy formed. Listeners took the limited pieces Brand New gave them, lyrics, artwork, fragments of narrative, and completed the rest themselves. The band's silence made room for projection.
I don't know. Is there something about when bands give less to fans in regards of here's my personality and here is who I am as a person? Does that make the parasocial shit deeper? Is that what he's about to get into? Because Sleep Token, right? Holy cults. Holy fucking cults. I know Sleep Token never does interviews. They're anonymous, but does that make them more appealing? I feel like it'd be the opposite, where a parasocial relationship would develop more when you feel like you know the human more. But I don't know. Let's see what he has to say.
Connect with the music. They connected with the version of the band they built in their own minds. Brand New is a band defined by restraint, by the parts they don't show us. And in these empty spaces, listeners place their own stories, their own memories, their own wounds. Brand New became personal in a way that had very little to do with the people who actually made the songs, which is what made 2017 so jarring. When allegations against Jesse Lacey surfaced, the reaction wasn't just shock. It wasn't just disappointment. It was something heavier. It was something more personal. It was the collapse.
Yeah, dude, if you're if you don't give shit to anybody ever, if you don't do interviews, you just you're in the shadows as your music is dropping or whatever, you're literally giving absolutely zero. And the one thing people get is, hey, you're a PDF file. That is absurd. I don't think a band needs to give us anything of their personal lives, but I do think that if they want success, right? Brand New not giving anybody anything and finding success is an anomaly. I think in order to develop a solid audience of people, you do need the interviews and you do need the press runs and shit, you know?
An imagined person. Because here was a singer who had spent 2 decades writing about being broken, ashamed, longing for forgiveness, wrestling with himself, trying to outrun the worst parts of who he was. The music was always about a flawed human being despite his best efforts. When it became clear that Jesse Lacey was a flawed human being despite his best efforts, many fans felt betrayed. The very qualities that drew people to Brand New, the honesty, the self-critique, the sense of damage, and the desire for healing, were the same qualities they couldn't accept when they surfaced in real life. The gap between the artist and the imagined version finally closed, and what people found there wasn't the hero they'd built, but a human being. This isn't about excusing what happened, it's about understanding why the reaction to it ran so deep, and why the story of Brand New reveals more about us, our expectations, our projections, our need for heroes, than it does about the band themselves. They gave very few interviews, they didn't explain their lyrics, they didn't build public personas on social media. They didn't
Which
walk
I feel like that could be like a cool thing. I think that I think giving your audience absolutely nothing, no context to your songwriting or personality, I think that could be a cool thing because it is like kind of like a choose your own adventure story, right? It's kind of like, hey, this is our music. Feel how you want with it, do what you want with it. It's up to interpretation. So okay, so the TLDR of like what he's saying is that they write songs, don't give any context to it. So whatever songs they come out, people expect Jesse to be whatever they're writing about. So I don't know this band. So if he like when he talks about religion or his struggles or whatever, they're like imagining this dude like is literally the embodiment of what he's writing. Um and they're just creating an image in their head that probably isn't real because just because these are songs and they connect to people doesn't necessarily mean that they are based on a true story. I don't know. I still want to hear it out to see what message this guy is trying to put out.
For years, that illusion held. The band stayed quiet, the songs did all the talking. And the Jesse Lacey that many fans knew was as much a construction of their own emotional needs as it was anything rooted in his actual life. That's why what happened in 2017 hit the way it did. It didn't just collide with facts, it collided with a carefully built, deeply personal myth.
I think this is like a passionate, I mean, if it's not written by AI, I think it's just like a I think if you are a fan of Brand New, you would find entertainment in this video, but I'm just doing drama slop. I'm being like a little fucking piggy, give me the slop. And it's not doing that for me. And now I feel like it's like I got trapped into I got trapped into checking out like the history that I don't care about. Now I think we're getting to the part I want.
When people talk about the Brand New scandal, they often frame it as a story about a band that disappointed its audience. But that reading is incomplete. It ignores the larger, more uncomfortable truth sitting in plain view. Great art, especially the kind that moves us, doesn't come from well-adjusted, untested, perfectly balanced human beings.
Of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't, right? Yeah, he's not wrong. Like good art doesn't come from like fucking perfect human, right? If you were, again, I don't know their lyrics, but if you're lyrically writing about one thing, right? Like let's just use heartbreak for example because it's generic, or like struggling with spirituality or whatever, right? If that's what you're lyrically writing about and you're trying to say, hey man, this guy's putting on display that he struggles and he's imperfect, he cheated on his partner and he's heartbroken for her or whatever. Okay, yeah, I get that, but nowhere is he outwardly saying, hey, I like kids. I gotta re-listen to that one part.
Is incomplete. It comes from people who've been in the dark long enough to know what it feels like and honest enough to put it into words.
Okay, but you're not being honest. Are there any Brand New band songs about Jesse's pedophilic ways? No. Older songs reevaluated in hindsight. Many listeners point out that Brand New's older discography is famously filled with themes of guilt, manipulation, and self-loathing. Following the public emergence of the allegations of late 2017, several tracks took on a more disturbing connotation for fans. If that's the case, maybe that is a little different. I don't know. Maybe he does have some ground to stand on. If it's like, if he's over here like writing songs about, I've done bad things and I'm a terrible person. I got so many skeletons in my closet that you guys, though, I don't want to be honest about, but I'm a terrible human. And it turns out like what he's saying is facts, then yeah, I guess it shouldn't be all that surprising. It's just like if the lyrics are vague enough, it's kind of like, oh man, I'm guilty too. One time I kicked the duck because it was trying to grab the sandwich out of my hand, so I kicked it.
Brand New's music resonated with us because it captured experience most of us couldn't articulate on our own. Fear of who you're becoming, guilt for what you've done, longing for forgiveness, the constant tension between wanting to be better and knowing you might never be. Those aren't ideas you invent from a safe distance. Those are things you learn by living through them. That doesn't excuse harm, it doesn't erase hurt. The struggle they recognized in themselves wasn't symbolic. It belonged to the person writing the songs just as much as it belonged to them.
That he's spitting though. That he's spitting. That part he's spitting. That he's spitting. He's saying that like, yeah, okay, an extra layer to it being disturbing is like, yeah, the out of left field surprise of like, hey, yeah, I thought this was about like me kicking a duck, but it ends up being like a confession of him being doing like PDF file shit. Maybe I'm like misinterpreting the video, because I guess another point he could be making that I'm not understanding is like probably something along the lines of just adding a layer of like, yeah, he's a bad guy and did bad shit, but you also feel extra disappointed because of the connection you had with the music and what you thought it could have potentially met, and it coming out to be a lot more twisted and dark than you initially thought just hit you in a much deeper way. Should anyone participate to that anniversary show or tour they're doing? Should anyone pull up? Is it okay for them to do it? I think not. No PDFs are wanted in the scene. Get away! And I'm not coming to you! And no kids! That better be an 18 plus show at least. Goddamn.